Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video we'll be talking about a very intense pattern. I don't really know what to call it. It's going to be active, intense, as I mentioned already. Lots of storms, lots of rain. In the tropics there's a lot of activity. On the land there's a lot of activity. A lot of things to discuss, and honestly this would probably take really maybe a few hours if we were to tell you everything in extreme detail, but I want to keep this video under 20 minutes, so I'll do my best. But yeah, active, intense, as we head towards fall. Definitely some fall characteristics in this pattern, especially on the land and even in the tropics. The peak hurricane season is in September, and that's fall, and we're still a bit ahead, but yeah, definitely trending towards that fall. So yeah, it looks like things will stay active, and I will be informing you about that today. Before we get into this, if you come across this channel, you enjoy what you're watching, consider subscribing to it. Obviously, don't subscribe just because I told you to. And also, same thing with liking the video. If you enjoy it, give it a thumbs up. That would be amazing. And if you also have any comments or concerns, leave them down below, as I answer and read almost all of them. So I'm not like some people that don't really answer any, or if I were to get 1,000 comments maybe, but I don't get that many. I get relatively a decent amount, so I answer all of them. Okay, without further ado, without further talking, let's start getting into this. So first off, what I want to take a look at is the drought monitor of the United States. Actually, no. First off, let's take a look at the National Weather Service Weather Ready Nation map, and I want to show you what's going on across the U.S. We do have some heat advisories across Florida and the South. Yep, definitely warm and muggy down there. Notice across the Mid-Atlantic we do have flash flood watches. Again, that is mainly to do with the rain that's fallen from Fred and rain that is going to fall. Notice Friday into Friday night there is going to be quite a bit of rain. Periods of rain are expected over the Mid-Atlantic. A moderate to locally heavy rain is expected at times Friday into Friday night, so that is into tomorrow. Notice this is what they're showing: half an inch to an inch, maybe even 2 inches. Again, this is on top of already rain that has been falling, so there could be some flooding. Not insane, but definitely a slight risk. So if you're to take a look at this, notice there are some peppering of red colors, and that is to do with flash flood watches. Flash flood warnings. That means that there was a ton of rain that occurred, and these localized areas got way too much, rain, and they're dealing with some flooding right now. And yes, if I were to click on Sufton, I think that's what it reads, West Virginia. Sutton, sorry, and notice that the flash flood warning is different from a watch. It's indicating that it's already occurring and ongoing, and you can see that 1 and 2 inches have fallen. Additional rain amounts could be falling as well, so yeah, definitely a concern, and more rain could be on the way, especially for the northeast where the rain is heavy, and there could be that large impacts from Tropical Storm Henry, potentially Hurricane Henry. I will get into that as well. Notice we do have, from that large system I've been tracking across Wyoming, the northern plains, we do have some severe weather starting to get fired up. As I mentioned, again, some of this will be severe. There even is a tornado warning in Colorado, which isn't that unusual as it may sound. Definitely concerned, but yeah, Colorado, especially eastern, obviously Colorado, maybe not the mountains, but eastern Colorado, they're not anything, not used to severe weather or tornadoes potentially. So yeah, you can see a severe weather capable of producing a severe thunderstorm and big mug ball sized hail. Yeah, that's massive. That is massive hail. Definitely could cause some damage. And we do have some flash flood watches out here. That is again to do with the rain that has fallen. Additional rain will continue to fall. Notice this is what they're showing as could fall, and this was made as of 2:50 a.m. So I'm assuming a lot of this has already fallen, but some amounts are still possible into these areas. So yeah, definitely a wet pattern, and yeah, you can see that's definitely a concern, especially with what could be coming off the tropics. I want to show you the drought monitor just to show you kind of where the areas that are dry and what they need. Notice right here, very dry, very bad conditions, but I'm focusing this area because there could be a lot of rain for these states in the coming weeks. I mean a lot. Potentially North Dakota could be seeing widespread amounts above 6 inches. Same with South Dakota. Minnesota, quite the same story. Quite a good amount of rain. The Southeast, especially the Northeast, decent amounts of rain as well. But, they don't have a drought, so that's why I'm not really focusing those areas here. That definitely could be also a bad thing, just too much rain. But definitely here, more of a good thing. Yeah, there could be some flooding, but these areas need to be replenished with their water. And I do want to say that not everyone will unfortunately be getting this rainfall. Montana did, Wyoming got some rain as well, but really the Northwest, mainly Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Nevada, portions of Utah won't be getting that much more rain. They did get some with this past system, but again, mainly staying drier. And then the Southwest will continue to see some precipitation from the monsoon, so that is some good news as well. We could see some development across Kansas and Nebraska with the drought. All right, so that is kind of the drought situation. And now I want to show you the radar. The reason I'm showing you this radar is because, well, this pattern, this storm that we have right now across the west, this is the start of many systems, and yeah, it's pretty big. Notice it is dropping some snow right there across northeastern Utah, which again isn't really that unusual, but it is chilly across these states today, relatively below average, so definitely something. Notice, look at that, severe weather. I mean, that is quite a bit of rain occurring right now in the panhandle of Nebraska. Definitely some severe storms. We do have some lighter to moderate, just more gentle rain across the Colorado and Rockies and into Utah. And I notice into Idaho, similar story. Into Wyoming, not as much right now, and into Montana and the South Canada prairies, Southern Canadian prairies, we do have some light to moderate rain occurring as well. I want to show you that the past 6 hours have been rather busy for this part of the world. Notice, look at that. I mean, rain just kind of occurring across very similar locations. Look at Idaho, just seeing rain and rain and rain. That is good. They needed that, and you can see right now towards the afternoon we are seeing those storms firing up to quite a intense degree. And I do want to mention that the rest of the country is just kind of seeing showers across the Midwest, the Southern Plains, nothing too big. We do see some increased activity across the South, right, with those storms, rain, definitely impressive. And that is the remnants of Fred right there. You can still see that there is a bit of circulation, but yeah, mainly dying off. And Henry is somewhere out right here, starting to, well, it's not really showing itself on the radar yet, but it may very well soon be. And I want to show you now what's going to happen with this system across the northern plains, okay? And I want to show you what could result in that, or what could happen with that. So let's take a look at the FV3 high res. It's a really good model. It goes out to 60 hours, so it's short term. So we are at 5 p.m., so it's a bit old, but notice it's representing pretty well what's going on. Maybe it's a bit aggressive with that rain across the northeast. There's Henry right there. Look at that. I mean, that thing is pretty strong already, almost a hurricane. It will continue zooming to the north. Again, a definite landfall across the northeast is not still confirmed, or, it's unknown, uncertain. It's definitely a possibility. And if you do live across the northeast and you're watching this video, anywhere from, I would say, southern New Jersey all the way up into Maine, you should be, especially around the coastal areas, should be preparing for this system. Regardless of what folks say that, oh, this is still far out, things could change. It's better to be prepared and not be caught off guard. It's better to be safe than sorry. Yes, a hurricane is possible. This probably won't be a major hurricane, not a category 2, 3, 4, 5, thank goodness, right? But it's possible that there could be a category 1 hurricane headed for the northeast. And yes, that does sound rather odd. It hasn't happened in a while, but there have been worse storms across the northeast. And I guess that doesn't really justify this or undermine this event, but yes, if I were you, I would be preparing. I'm not saying to cause panic. It's just better to be safe than sorry. Across the northeast, you don't want to be that one person that doesn't prepare, thinking it will move to the east in the last second, and then it hits towards your area, right? With 75-mile-per-hour winds as a category 1. Potentially some models, actually quite a few, are showing it even stronger, maybe even a category 2. But yeah, that seems rather unlikely for now. Right. We're still a bit away. That would be happening this Sunday into Monday, most likely. Now back to the plains. Notice right there across Wyoming. This is what we have been seeing, and this is what we will be seeing. 6, 7, 8. Notice the storms moving to South Dakota, Nebraska. We do see a bit of that snow and rain. Yes, snow in Wyoming starting to fill in and abate more of Idaho and Colorado, but move more into again the Yellowstone area, into Montana. And look, we start seeing these thunderstorms continue well into the overnight hours. Into 6, 7, 9, 10, right? This is at this point noon, and notice that we do see quite a bit of activity now starting to fill into North Dakota, right? Very slow moving on the back side of this, and lots of thunderstorms developing out on a cold front side of this system. 6, 7, 8 p.m. Very strong thunderstorms moving right through really most of Minnesota. And we see that circulation still kind of lingering into North Dakota and Canada, and it finally pushes out. And at this point, this is Saturday. And I do want to mention something that a lot of folks are often confused where the timing is, or want me to go slower, and I do apologize. I just try covering as much as I can. Look, here's the time, and this is Central Standard Time, so add an hour if you're on the East Coast, subtract an hour if you're in the Mountain Time, and if you're on the West Coast Pacific, subtract 2 hours. So this is 9, this is 10 today, right? 11, 12 a.m. This is now into 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, a lot of these showers, a lot of these little cells, that's just rain chances. These models aren't perfect, and unfortunately I can't give you an exact forecast of your location, but just wherever you see your place. For example, if you live in Virginia, you can see there's some showers there. Across the northern plains, North Dakota, this is what they show tomorrow in the morning, 9 a.m. But it could easily be a bit more filled in if this model is incorrect, which happens all the time, which doesn't mean it's a bad model. It's just hard to predict these systems. Tomorrow, by late tomorrow, 6, 7, right, when I'm recording this video today, there will be big storms across Minnesota. Those will have some torrential downpours, heavy rain, potentially some damaging effects as well. So stay safe. And stay tuned to your local National Weather Service. And then this is what happens by late Friday into Saturday. You could see that for much of the northern plains, it's done. That system's out of here. What we do start seeing is Henry. That catches the eye. Look at all those cells and storms pushing into the Outer Banks, into the Maryland, Delaware area, into New Jersey. Again, this model keeps it pretty strong and pretty close to the coast, and it's one of many that do that, but there's also several that just push it away. So we'll just have to wait and see. I do want to point something out. Notice it's clear across the northern plains, but we start seeing more activity across Utah, Wyoming, and into Idaho, and into Montana. It's another storm, and that's why I'm calling this such an intense pattern. The first 6 minutes of this video, or whenever I've been talking about this, haven't seen show an extreme pattern, but I'll show you in just a second. So not only are the tropics active, right, it only shows this up to 60 hours, so it doesn't show the landfall or whatever it may happen to it, but it shows the heavy rain across North Dakota. Look, many locations getting into, well, the 2-inch range, and even more into the inch or half an inch and above. Yes, it's not an area-wide massive rain event, but there will be many more after this system. Look at that, Minnesota, decent rain amounts. Anywhere you get those blue streaks, probably up to 1 inch to 2 inches. If you get into one of those thunderstorms, you will see a lot of rain in a short amount of time. And again, decent rains for the northern plains and the northwest. The south, yes, decent rains as well. And again, if you get into one of those torrential tropical downpours, you will definitely know you're seeing that rain. And let's take a look at the NAM 12KM. It's a different type of model. Notice, very in agreement with what's happening across North Dakota. It does not show as much as the FV3 does for central North Dakota. It pushes a bit towards the west, right? The heaviest of the rain. So again, there are some differences which could mean a large difference. Notice what this model does with the Tropical Storm Henry, or potentially hurricane at this point. Look, right into the northeast. Boom. Now, again, it doesn't keep it strong. This model keeps it at potentially a tropical storm, maybe a category 1. But look at all that rain that could fall. This one keeping it, honestly, a bit light. 3 to 5 inches, 3 to 6. And it's not done with the system. It's still spinning away across the northeast at this time frame, which is Monday, late Sunday into Monday. And look, across the northern plains, we start seeing more colors being added on. There will be another system. I could show you the rain. The radar, simulated radar, there's our tropical storm, hurricane, whatever it may be. And notice it's into the northeast, and we have another system again across the northern plains. So these are more of the high-res models, right? They don't go out that far, but now I want to show you one that goes out very far. But let's take a look at the model run that's actually finished processing. And notice this is what the GFS does. It's a pretty good model. Look, there's our system today into North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin. It pushes away, right? Saturday, tomorrow, today, and to Saturday. We do have Hurricane Grace hitting into Mexico, already hit the Yucatan. It's done with its dealings there. Notice the southeast obviously getting quite a bit of rain from Henry, and as we push into late Sunday into Monday, the GFS brings it awfully close to Boston. Look at that, and it keeps it very strong. That would be a category 1, maybe a category 2, especially further down, maybe not at landfall, but a bit earlier away into parallel with Virginia at that point. But definitely quite a bit of impacts, and it doesn't make direct landfall with the northeast, but it kind of mingles it around in the Gulf of Maine. Definitely impacts would be felt, right? So regarding the upper plains now, notice Iowa, the north, Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota, another system passes through. Just really hours after this first one pushes away. Look, There's our second one, right? And this is now into Monday, late Monday. This is now into early Tuesday, right? Henry's also done with its doings there. But look across the northern plains. We see a third system. Not as strong, but it does organize itself, especially as it pushes into Wisconsin, Michigan. This is now into Wednesday, early Thursday. And look, a fourth event. Another wave of very potentially potent storms. So hopefully you're starting to see why I'm calling this such an intense pattern. I mean, it really is going to be insane. I mean, just storm after storm. I don't recall such an active pattern for the northern plains in a while. And look, this one develops a pretty strong cold front all the way down into New Mexico, and it slides this precip towards the south. But we're not done. And into potentially, now this is Monday, August 30th, a week from this upcoming Monday, we see more activity a bit further towards the south into Nebraska, South Dakota, maybe not the northern Dakota area, but, into Minnesota, Wisconsin, still wet. Obviously, the south will be dealing with heavy rain as well, especially from the tropics potentially. I want to mention Texas, southern Texas, northern Mexico, potentially quite a bit of rain, and that gets combined with the energy from the north and kind of sweeps to the northeast. And notice that it does keep things wet there. It doesn't dry out in a very, very long term. And obviously, the GFS does end up showing a hurricane, which seems like all the models are very excited about the tropics right now. This is very far out. Please don't worry about this. This is way, way, way too far out to cause any concerns at this point. All right, let's take a look at the total accumulated precipitation. Look at that. I mean, that is impressive across the Midwest into Iowa, North Dakota. I mean, that's more rain than you've probably seen your whole year in some portions, up to 4, 5, maybe in some 6-inch pockets. I definitely would not be surprised. While the GFS just shows us vague amounts, right? It doesn't show these high extreme amounts unless it's very confident, which that's always a concern when it shows those high amounts, because this isn't a high-res model. It shows broad systems, so it basically shows us where it favors the rain. Notice it shows rain across Utah and Colorado, but it's not as much as the Midwest, so you could assume that here it's going to be wetter. But it doesn't mean that just where it's white or very light rain, you won't see any rain. These are fluctuations model into model, and that could change. What is concerning is all of this rain down here, which is, potentially in the double digits, and it's so far out, but it's showing so much rain. Not good news. Notice Arizona, New Mexico, Southern California seeing more rain. That is good. Arizona and New Mexico, they're almost out of their drought at this point. I mean, they've seen insane progress. They're only in a severe drought, a good chunk of southern Arizona. Northern Arizona is a bit worse. But, 100% of the state is still in a drought, some abnormally dry conditions. And again, this was updated today. The hydraulic situation is much better here, but really further up, it's still pretty bad. And it's gonna get better across the upper Midwest for sure with all that rainfall, and it's probably gonna prevent it from getting much worse across Wisconsin, Iowa, and Nebraska. Maybe a bit worse across Oklahoma, Texas, and Kansas, as it's looking as of right now. I want to show you the Canadian. This is a decent model. I don't like it as much for the precip outlook, but it does a good job showing the events. And notice, we have Henry. It makes a pretty good landfall according to this model on the northeast. Northern plains are heavily favored with this model. I mean, widespread amounts up to over 2.5 inches, in some pockets over 6, maybe even getting towards that yellow color according to this model, so 9 inches. Definitely good news as long as it doesn't cause flooding, that rain. And notice that there's Henry. Let's look at the northeast, right? Boom, this model takes it in. So that's pretty much a category 1 right into the New England, and it takes a sweet old time, kind of backs out. So a lot of rain, but nonetheless it impacts it. Notice the northern plains, right? There's today's system moving into Minnesota. There's its cold front, kind of weakens. Literally a day afterwards, we have another system, right, into Monday, late Sunday into Monday. Then into Tuesday, another system across southern Canada. Now, the Canadian, you can see, is a bit different from the GFS. More systems, but it's a bit different of a orientation. So definitely still something to worry about. And especially with these outbreaks like this, that definitely could be causing some severe weather. Maybe a derecho, you can see that's long-lived and tracks across many states. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. And this is at this point next Friday, but more rain looks to be on its way. And we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that. And notice we do see some stuff brewing in the tropics as well, the Gulf of Mexico more specifically. So total accumulated precip, it does show that rain across Texas. It's not as the GFS, not as heavy, but again, the GFS went out to 384 hours. The Canadian only to 240. I want to show you the European and its intense interpretation of the pattern. Notice there's today's system, just a beautiful fall storm. I mean, look at that. It's a cold front, it's a warm front right there, and there's our shield. If this was winter, again, that would be a blizzard across the Dakotas. But notice there's Henry. It keeps it much weaker, but it does make it it puts it on land, so it does intensify. It's not good, right? It looks as if almost all of the three major models are, apologies about that, are making a landfall on it on the northeast. Just the GFS that keeps it stronger, but that's the thing. It keeps it stronger just a bit further away from the coast. Both pretty bad scenarios, right? And then look into Sunday again. There's our second system. European, Canadian, and GFS all agreeing on that. Then as we take a look into Tuesday, look at that. Another system moves in more further towards the north, but definitely brings some showers, some storms into the northern plains, potentially across maybe Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin. So definitely an active pattern. And as we push this forward, we see more activity. A bit further towards the south, maybe, again, as the GFS noted as well with its later storms. But you can see the European introduces yet another system across the Dakotas. And again, across the northeast, the south, active tropics. Especially towards the south, meaning the Gulf of Mexico. Total accumulated precipitation, again, where Tropical Storm Henry would landfall, or Hurricane Henry, it would produce quite a bit of rain. In fact, in many areas, over the 6-inch amount. And yeah, that's definitely something to be worried about. Notice the northern plains, very, very good amounts. Over 6-7 inches, widespread amounts of 1 to 3 inches, maybe even more. And yeah, notice just continues piling on top of each other. Some of these locations over the next 10 days seeing 7 inches. Hopefully not that much, because that's a bit too much, but they definitely need that decent rain. Notice Montana also seeing some rain. Wyoming maybe a bit less than what you've been seeing the last 24 hours, right? But especially towards Yellowstone and Grand Tetons, quite a bit of rain. The rain across it's further towards the south and east, a bit less, but definitely some chances still are there. Notice the southeast pretty wet, and the northeast obviously being wet as well. Southern Canada, for my folks living there, decent rains as well, obviously across the prairies. The southwest, not bad as well for Canada right there. And into portions of southeastern Canada, a bit lighter amounts, but again, it's hard to tell what the tropical storm impacts will be, how far to the north it carries that rain. But for now, that is basically all I wanted to cover. I do want to show you the United Kingdom model in terms of its precipitation forecast. Notice, obviously, it introduces Henry right there, right into New York City. That would be a pretty interesting scenario. 14 inches of rain, definitely not good. Keeps it pretty strong, but also shows similar things to what the other model shows, which is, northern plains, heavy rain, the southeast, and of course Henry. So I wouldn't say this model is completely inaccurate. Hopefully this doesn't happen, but yeah, definitely some heavy rain is on its way for a good portion of the United States. I do want to show you the 2-meter temperature anomalies, what we could expect in terms of the temperatures. Again, cooler across the west and northern plains right now, warmer across much of the north and east and southeastern Canada, but that will quickly kind of go away. Notice it stays warmer, but not as warm as the next few days, really. And the cooler kind of stays around the northern plains. It doesn't really get too hot, which is good. They've been dealing with a lot of heat. But yeah, definitely staying warmer the further south and east, especially the east you go, according to this European model. I would say, more of a warm than a cool pattern for much of the folks, other than where it's a bit rainy or cloud covered, right? That will definitely bring some cooler temperatures, rain cool there. But otherwise, yeah, definitely more on this warmer side of things in terms of this pattern. And yeah, that's basically it. That's what I wanted to cover. Again, for the hurricane updates, go to the National Hurricane Center, National Weather Service. If I were to click on the Northeast right now and click on, say, Providence, Rhode Island, I do think that they are mentioning, yeah, look at that, tropical conditions possible. So it's getting to that point where it's pretty close range. It's likely that something will be affecting the Northeast out of this system. Whether or not will be a direct landfall is hard to tell, but hopefully not. But again, it's better to be safe than sorry. And the southeast, quite a bit of rain. There will be some heat. The northeast as well, hot but more rainy. The Midwest, chances of storms, showers, kind of a mix between cooler and warmer waves. Northern plains, way more wet conditions for you and rather cooler. The Northwest, depending on where, closer towards the ocean, you will be seeing drier and warmer conditions. Further towards Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, a bit cooler and wetter. The Southwest, especially the monsoon areas like Arizona, New Mexico, Southern Colorado, Utah, Southern California, could be seeing some wetter conditions, but rather warmer still. And then into Northern California and much of Nevada, in southern Oregon areas, staying rather dry and warm. So that's pretty much it. I do want to say again for Texas, watch out. There could be some heavy rains according to some models in the future. Not in the near future, but in the potentially medium to long range. So that's something to watch for. And of course, the tropics. There may be additional storms that come through, hurricanes, whatnot. So yeah, stay safe, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Hope you learned something new. Again, stay up to date with the weather. It's constantly changing, and you can see there's a lot going on. Stay safe. See ya. Bye.